What would be my new name?
Neema Pinder.
Neema Pinder.
Yeah.
Neema Pinder. I knew I was funny from the jump. I came out the womb just like bang, bang, bang. You know? Curbside appeal.
Curbside.
You have to make very nice outside. Otherwise, nobody buy. Okay.
It's so true.
What do we got to talk about, Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
The only way I'll come by is if you put Jas Takhar and Napinder.
When you come on Thursdays, game one.
Because we all get to decide.
The business, the way to shoot the video.
I tried my accent. You're probably still getting used to it, Neema. I got my guest, Neema Naz, here. He's going to correct me if I'm wrong, but born and raised in Toronto, but now in Australia.
Yes, sir.
All right. I got to ask,
intro.
man.
Appreciate it.
I gotta ask, because I've seen a lot of videos here in Toronto, some actually based in Brampton as well. Why the move to Australia, if you don't mind me asking?
Good question. So originally we were supposed to move to the US, but then our visas got rejected like three different times. And so we just kind of took that as a sign from the universe to shift our focus somewhere else. And Australia was our backup plan, and even UK a little bit, but the whole reason was for me to go down to the States or to Australia to work on my new hour of material, which I'm building up for my next tour in 2025. So that's why we chose Melbourne, which is in Australia. It's a good scene here, and yeah, we're here for the next year or so.
Okay, well, congratulations on the move. You actually said a couple of things that are going to segue me into a different kind of variation of the conversation. But you said you're setting up for your tour. I'm always curious when it comes to comedians. Like, are you working your shtick, for a lack of a better word? I do a lot of stage talks for real estate agents. It's part of my coaching company. I do talks for real estate investors, and mine is all improv. So I don't use a PowerPoint. I kind of go on stage. I do my thing, and I compare it to comedians like yourself, where like I'm working my shtick in smaller crowds, and I'm getting ready for that 10,000 person crowd, hopefully at the Scotiabank Center, formerly known as the ACC. That's my dream. I know you fulfilled some dreams that we're going to be talking about, but is that kind of what you're going through right now? Is like working that whole tour?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So pretty much how comedians do it is like they work on new material to build up a 50-hour set for their next tour, and which usually takes a year or two or whatever, sometimes 3. But that's pretty much what I'm working on right now. Yeah, exactly. It's just about like bouncing around, trying new stuff, getting on stage, bombing, eating shit on stage. Like just you said you talk on stages too, so you understand how it is, right? It's like sometimes it's not gonna go as well as other times, but those are the moments that will help you grow and get better. So that's the whole reason and the whole essence of why we're even doing this in the first place. So
like when you say bomb, is that in your world, you worked on a joke and it's just like shit, like maybe 5% of the crowd laughed? Is it 50%? In your brain, like what is a bomb on a joke?
It's definitely not 50%.
Okay.
It's more 5 or 10% for sure. Yeah. Or sometimes 0. Sometimes you get dead stares, like get off stage, dude.
How many times has that happened to you? I'm curious.
Oh, plenty of times, man. Recently it happened to me. Like last week, pretty much. I was just on stage and I'm doing my jokes that I think are pretty good already. But you get humbled, man. You get humbled real quick. And then you gotta eat it. You gotta take it. Put it in your heart, go sleep on it, cry a little bit, and then try again tomorrow.
See, in my world, it's fucking different. It's easier for me. It's harder for you guys because I'm not going up there trying to be funny. I might throw some jokes.
Exactly.
If they land, great.
Right.
Mine's more like motivational shit. Like, guys, get up off your fucking ass. Informational stuff, right? So even if a joke doesn't land, I can kind of go to the next story in my head. In yours, your whole thing is to make them laugh. So
for sure,
I know I get the go home, eat the shit. You're gonna grow. Like it's right down my alley. But I'm talking about when it happens. Like what the fuck is going through your head? Yeah, in the moment.
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. But it's actually also fun at the same time. It sounds very cynical and sadistic, but sometimes I like the pain of eating it on stage because I'm like, oh man, you know what? Fuck you guys. I'm in the zone right now. I'm trying shit out. I just got to get through this, and it's a win for me. But at the end of the day, obviously, it's on me to make them laugh, which is the real shit right there. But I don't know, man. You just have to take it and embrace it. But that's the thing; it gets easier the longer you do it. You know what I'm saying? Like the longer you get on stage, the more you get on stage, the more you eat it, the better you'll get at embracing it, and also moving forward from it.
I gotta ask, Neema, as a 16, 17-year-old kid, high school, who are you? Like, are you the funny class clown getting kicked out of class, or are you like in the books? Like, who is that guy back in high school?
Yeah, for sure. No, I was at the most I was decent at subjects.
Okay.
But that's because I kind of had to do well, or else I was gonna get kicked out of my house. No,
Sure.
But no, I was more so just kind of drifting through, trying to exist. I loved fun. I know it sounds cheesy, but I was like, why aren't we having more fun in school? Like that's why I was always goofing around. I was talking shit. I was like whispering funny things to my friends in class when we're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Like just weird shit all the time. You know. But I was like, I gotta get these laughs. I gotta get these laughs from these people constantly. And is
that where the comedy stuff start from? Then, like, when did you know?
No.
When did you know you were funny? Let me ask you that. Because I've been meaning to ask like a lot of like, when did you know? Were you making the parents laugh?
When I was a kid.
Got it.
Yeah. I knew I was funny from the jump. You know what I'm saying? I came out the womb just like bang, bang, bang. You know?
Got it.
You know what it is? Yeah. When I was a kid, it was more so when I was a kid. I don't know if I even knew I was funny. I just knew I was kind of relentless and I just didn't care. I wasn't shy at all. Like we would have family gatherings at my house in my Persian household where people just they yell really loud when they're having regular conversations. They're drinking, they're dancing, they're shaking shoulders, they're talking shit, they're gossiping. And then the entertainment comes. People pull out the instruments out of nowhere. I'm like, where are these instruments coming from? And then people start singing. And then it's time for me to be like, oh, everyone's like, oh, Neema, go up and make fun of your mom real quick. What happened at that Tim Hortons drive-thru? And then I do it, and then I'm crushing in front of my family. And that's it. I just kind of like, I was like, all right, yeah, I guess this is my role now. And that was the moment. Those were the moments where I kind of started to become who I am, Were
you born and raised in Brampton? Like, did you spend time in Brampton? No. Okay, so where in Toronto?
No, I'm not a B-town man.
You're not a B-town guy. Where in Toronto?
No. Everyone always gets it wrong. People always think I'm from a certain neighborhood I've never even been to.
Okay.
Like I'm telling you right now, I've been to Brampton like 10 times in my life. People think
because I'm a Punjabi guy. I'm a Punjabi guy, and you got a lot of jokes of a Punjabi guys, and so I almost felt like I was like, oh, you had to have lived in Brampton for a bit because okay, cool.
Yeah, well, it's funny. You know what's crazy, by the way? Side note, I got into an Uber one time, and this Punjabi driver looked back. He's like, "You're a Punjabi?" And I was like, "No, bro. How do I look?"
You do a little. I'm like, you got a little Punjabi look. A little bit. You with the beard right now, for sure.
Wow, really? Eh?
Yeah.
Yo,
hey, if I put a turban on you, you might pass.
Bro. What would be my new name? Neema what?
Well, it'd be Napinder. Neema Pinder? Neema Pinder. No, Neema Pinder.
Neema Pinder.
Yeah.
Neema Pinder.
That's it.
All right. Yeah. So, and people think I was also born and raised in Woodbridge because of the Italian videos I was doing too. I'm like, bro, I've been to Woodbridge like 3 times. Like, the thing is, so I was born in Scarborough, and I moved to Markham when I was like 9 or 10, and then I lived in Markham pretty much my whole life. That's where I kind of grew up and I was raised. But yeah, that's where I grew up.
My studio and my office is right at shops at Don Mills. So Don Mills and Lawrence. So next time you do come to Toronto, if you can grace the studio, come in person. We would love to have you.
The only way I'll come by is if you put Jas Takhar and Napinder on the wall.
Boys, I'm not sure if you heard that. We have to put a Napinder sign behind us, and he said he'll come in studio.
Yeah.
Consider it done.
It has to be an LED lighting.
Well, I call it my stripper lighting, bro. So if you want the strip joint lighting, no problem. I got you.
You can put stripper lighting, but I ain't stripping, bro.
We're not gonna go there right now. Couple of things. Number one is the whole Gary Vee thing. I have to ask you because I was lucky enough to have him on my podcast. Got to see him in his office.
That's nice. That's sick.
Really cool guy. You know that more than anyone.
For sure.
Why did you start with him? Like in terms of where I saw you pop off in my feed specifically, and I know you've been doing it for a while. Like, where did the whole Gary thing come across? Like, how did that come to your world?
That was actually not even the first thing that kind of started to pop me off, to be honest. There's a few other things before that. But a lot of people do know me for that one first, and then they find out about the other things. So that's fair. For me, I was making content for like 2-3 years at this point before it started to pick up. And I knew about him when I was first like kind of pumping stuff out on socials, micro content like Instagram and TikTok, because I loved his content. I learned a lot from what he was talking about, his message. And I literally took his advice of just like not overthinking it and just post shit, right? Like quantity over quality at the beginning at least, right? And I don't know, I was just like, whenever I watch someone online that I like, that I really gravitate towards, I just automatically find myself trying to imitate them for some reason. And then it just happened to be that I can pretty much kind of do his voice already. And so I just started like experimenting. I posted on my story one time and it was actually garbage. The first time I look back, I'm like, what the fuck is this? But at the time, a lot of people who followed me, they also knew it of him. And then they're like, yo, what the fuck? That's hilarious. Yo, do more. And then I just like naturally started to do more and more. And I got better and better really fast. And that's it. And then eventually after like a year or two, he finally liked the video, and then he commented, and then he followed me, and then he DM'd me. And then eventually I find myself opening for him at VCon 2 years ago on stage with him. And so that's pretty much how it happened.
It's insane. I want to get into the mind of like the way that you come up with jokes and stuff. How does that shit work? Is it you see shit in your day-to-day basis? I saw a story on Instagram today, like you saw a fucking pigeon waiting to get into like, I don't know, a store or a building.
Yeah.
I'm going to walk past that pigeon and I'm not even going to think
100%.
about that pigeon ever again.
For sure.
Is that like, are you seeing content kind of just regularly and then figuring out how to spin it as a joke? Like, where the fuck do the jokes come from? Like, I really want to get into the mind in that.
Yeah. I have no idea. It just happens, to be honest. I'm like, why am I thinking this way? Why the fuck would anyone stop and film a pigeon? I don't have an answer. But that's just how my brain works, bro. I swear to God, I was on my way to go to a stand-up set. I'm walking by, it's nighttime, no one's around. There's one pigeon literally doing this to the window of this jewelry store, and I find it hilarious. I'm like, what the fuck is this pigeon doing trying to get into a jewelry store? And I'm like, oh, this would be hilarious to film. Let me with my commentary. Yeah. And I did it. Literally, I was like, it was just, I don't know. I see small things like that. I'm like, this is so odd, but it's hilarious at the same time. Because it's like that, like, you know, this is life. Like, it's just, I'm trying to bring light to random shit that happens in life that other people might not register right away. But for me, I see that shit from a mile away, and I it's my duty. It's almost my role to make fun of it.
For everybody who's watching right now, or maybe you're listening while you take your dog for a walk, you're listening while you're in your car, do yourself a favor, pull over, go into the profile of Neema's. If you just want to smile, you want to laugh on a regular basis, you know it's the virus that I like to put out there, which is positivity. But my man here really puts a nice, funny spin to things. And at the end of the day, we need to laugh a lot more. Now, who were some of your inspirations kind of growing up in the comedy world? I'm a Jerry Seinfeld, Eddie Murphy, Richard Pryor's like old stuff that I've gotten to see. I obviously am not as old as, seeing him live or anything. Yeah. But for me, it's really Eddie Murphy. And I think of like the Jerry Seinfelds of the world, Steve Carell, 'cause of Office. Who were your inspirations growing up?
I'd say number one would be Russell Peters, obviously.
Yeah. You got to open for him.
Yeah, I got to open for him. Two summers ago, pretty much.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was a huge milestone for me. And if anyone watches my content, they know it's very similar to his style. And it's very heavily inspired by him, obviously, because it's like, when I was like 8 or 9 or 10 or whatever, when I was a kid, and I watched watched the TV and that Just for Laughs special that came out, obviously that blew him up. When I was watching him on TV with my dad, I remember vividly. I was in a living room and I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty sick. This brown guy's talking shit about other cultures and he's crushing. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, oh, this is hilarious. Like, but then you slowly realize like his humor molded not even just mine, but a whole generation of people's humor growing up. And that's obviously why I'm even here in the first place. Is like it started with him. And then along the way, I became a comedy fan, slowly but surely. And then, I obviously love acting too. I'm an actor. I love comedic acting. Will Ferrell, Seth Rogen, like those guys,
Yeah.
Jonah Hill, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I've always just aspired to just be all over, be like these guys and do my own movies, have my own stand-up shows, fucking make content, whatever.
I fucking love
and
that.
That's it, so.
And you said content, and you spoke about it a little bit when you were talking about Gary's kind of thought process around it, like quantity over quality, definitely at the start. From that thought processes as well. The more that you put out there, the more shots you get in terms of getting people's awareness. People who like you, great. People who don't, you come to realize that they're not going to like you anyways. And there's 8 billion people on this planet. Some will, some won't. So what? I'm sure you go through that process as well. But just in general, from a content perspective, like what has the TikToks and the Instagrams of the world, the social medias done for your personal life and your business life?
It's been great because, I've sort of created my own path. I've sort of created my own path with social media. I think it's a game changer because, even up until about 10 to 15 years ago, social media wasn't really a thing where people can make careers off of it. Unless it was like YouTube, you know what I'm saying? YouTube is different yet, but like actual like content creation, it's really new. And I feel like a lot of careers have been made because of it. And I just feel like 20 years ago, even with comedy, you had to there were so many gatekeepers. The only way you were going to get famous is getting a 5-minute TV spot on a late night show. And that was it. And then that's it. The chances were way more slim than it is now. But now anyone and their mom can get famous literally in their basement. And that's pretty much what's been happening to me. Honestly, I started pretty much in my mom's basement, in my parents' basement. And, it's giving me all these crazy opportunities. And so I'm a heavy believer in, obviously the more you market yourself, the more you promote yourself with your content that's authentic to you, then eventually you'll find that audience. And then those are the same people who are going to support you over and over again and buy the tickets to your shows, buy your merch, or, support you, follow you, leave comments, whatever it is. And that's what I truly believe in now more than ever. And we're going to keep growing it forever and ever.
So what would you say to somebody, Neema? Because they're going to see you now and they're going to say, well, obviously it comes easy to you and it's easy. Like, the whole overnight success bullshit. They haven't seen all the work that you put in. But someone who's like as a real estate agent and someone who coaches real estate agents, a big pillar of what I coach on is like, guys, you got to get out there. Like, look, if you're not as good looking as Neema or as Jas, I get it. You don't want to put yourself on camera, but maybe you can do an audio only podcast. Maybe you're really good at writing. Like I can't write sentences, but people can do that shit.
Yeah.
When it comes to video, though, there's a lot of insecurities.
For sure.
How does someone get started? Like even in slow steps, what would your advice be to them?
Well, first of all, you have to be self-aware enough to understand why you're doing it in the first place. Because once you understand why you're doing it, then the rest of it becomes very much easier to get past mentally. So, like for me, like I've been always self-conscious about my weight and how oversized I've always been. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the fattest guy in the room everywhere I go. But I'm like, hey man, it is what it is right now. I can't change now. So I might as well just keep going. And then eventually, when I one day want to actually take care of my health, which I'm doing right now, it's like slowly but surely that those problems will start going away because you're so focused on the main thing that you're doing on online. And so that's the easiest way to look at it for me. And also one thing I realized is like so many people have tons of things to worry about in their own lives. They don't really care as much as you think they care.
Fucking love that.
So, yeah.
Like I noticed that, you know, like I sometimes have a lazy eye. The doctors have been trying to look at it, trying to fix it.
Right.
I do a lot of stuttering sometimes. The brain's
Yeah.
moving faster than my lips.
Yeah.
I came to realize that most people don't give a shit. Like I'm from Rexdale.
Yeah.
You can't see the whole, you know, sign behind me,
Rex.
the whole neon sign. It says
Yeah.
established in Rexdale. Like I want to
Oh,
put
wow,
Rexdale on the map. You know what I mean?
Damn.
And
You're a hood man.
well, I was born there,
the
but you know,
hood.
I was lucky because I was protected by my two older brothers, my parents. They really kept me sheltered. So like
Nice.
all that shit was around me, but I found what I was good at. And what I realized over time that most people are not thinking about you as much as you think that they're thinking about. They got their own shit going on. You spoke about your weight. And I reached out to you and the team. You've been really busy, obviously.
Yeah.
But there was a story you put up, I'm going to say about 2-3 weeks ago. It might be a little bit longer, where I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
I'm following up again. It was a story about somebody just making some stupid comment about you on the journey of like with your new transformation. And the shit that you said, man, that made me like, I need to reach back out because like I can't, I'm not sure if you can see it. I wear a sweater that says
nice.
you are enough every single day. Just to remind everybody, like, you're enough.
Nice.
But what you said in that story is like, what the heck are you guys talking about? Like, I'm on my journey.
Yeah.
I'm on the process, you know? Like, so
Yeah.
I want to ask you, because I want somebody to be inspired today by it. Like, how is this whole journey going right now? Like, I see the work you're putting in. Like, you put out your stories, how much you're working out, like what you're doing and how much you're sweating. How's this whole journey been for you, man? What did you learn about yourself?
Oh man, it's been great. And to touch on the story you're talking about, here's the thing. There's always this notion that you can't talk about physical health or fitness unless you're actually jacked. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Because if I don't talk about this stuff now, how am I ever going to get to that point in the first place? Right? And someone has to do it, right? Like I said earlier, it was my role to kind of go up and tell those funny jokes to my family when I was a kid. That's how I feel about this now, is because once again, I have people follow me. I have a large audience who watches my stuff daily. And I just feel like it's my duty almost to share the journey along with those people who actually heavily support me, which is great. And yeah, man, it's like, if I don't aim high, then I'll never even get to here in the middle, right? So that's all it is. It's as simple as that. And so that's why I like to talk about those things, because it will inspire many people that you have no idea who you're inspiring, but it definitely will. And I don't know. I just feel like it's good to be vulnerable sometimes and transparent online, because it just comes off more authentic and people will get to know you better that way.
100%, man. I think the one thing that the social medias and the internet doesn't do a good job with is not enough people are putting out their failures. Not enough people are, showing the journey. They're showing the private jets and they're showing like, the beautiful this and the six packs and all that shit, but they're not showing the actual journey. So I just want to be someone that says to you that, like, please don't stop putting that stuff out there, because way more people need to hear it and way more people need to see it. And it'll be kind of cool for people to finally see like you at where you want to be in terms of this transformation. So just big, I want to give you the flowers now. That's what I'm really wanting to articulate. I want to give you your flowers now.
I appreciate that.
You said mom, like Mom's Basement. Mom makes some, special appearances in your content. Was that like easy to get her to do it? Like, what was that process like, man? Like, not all parents sometimes want to be on the content, but I see her make a lot of appearances.
Yeah. She's heavily supportive, always has been. At first, obviously, she hated when I was doing these videos with her in it, like sneaking her in almost. She's always so shy and like so reserved and very just she doesn't like to not look like perfect in front of a camera. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's just a typical like just immigrant mom thing in general. Like they're all like that. Like, what do you mean? Like why is this camera in front of my face? I'm not like I don't have 10 pounds of makeup on yet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's first of all, no one's gonna give a fuck. But anyway, so originally at first when I start to like do some pranks on her, she like hated it and she's like, no, it's like don't film me, like don't film me. And then whenever she'd get angry, like not like super angry, but she'd just be like don't do, no, I don't want to be on whatever. But like she was playful about it. And then eventually when she started to see how much I was growing online and I actually was building an audience, and like every time I did a video with my mom, even from the beginning, there would be like the most comments about her and how much they loved her. And then the funniest part is she says don't film me, and then as soon as she reads the comments, she's like like she's like giddy, like reading the comments, like, oh my god, look what this person said to me. Oh my god, look, they said that they loved the video. Oh my god, you know, and like it's just the cutest thing, right? So and then
awesome.
Eventually it just kept getting better and bigger and bigger, and now it got to a point where she's so loved by so many people. She like thrives off it. She like walks around with that confidence, like, oh man, look at all these people love me. And then she's now directing videos sometimes, and it's hilarious. So
Well, she has a lot more stories than you too, right? About the culture,
Oh,
so
for
you
sure.
can
Of
pull on
course,
that
of
shit.
course.
I love that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, I've obviously mentioned I'm a real estate agent a couple of times. I gotta ask you,
Yep.
where the fuck do you get all your real estate content from? Like, how you know about the market and shit so much? Like, I've been seeing a lot more videos.
Everything, buddy. I know everything. Okay, I am realtor number one. Don't worry about that. Okay,
How do you know about the market?
bro. Don't even worry, bro. No, but I have my sources. You know, like I always say, like, I'm so grateful and happy to grow up in the greater Toronto area, because I make this joke all the time. It's a dumb joke, but it's like growing up, even till now, all my friends have been from different backgrounds, and I feel like I'm in the United Nations every day, because I got Tamil friends, Indian friends, Arab friends, white friends, Chinese friends, Persian, like the list goes on.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the foundation of the information that I have, because
Neema,
I'm an
really
extension.
quickly, hang on 1 second, not to cut you off, but I got my French boy there, and I got my boy from Syria over there.
There you go.
Hey.
Alhamdulillah, inshallah.
Inshallah and alhamdulillah.
Enchanté.
Enchanté.
When I mean, yeah, there you go. See what I mean?
It's the fucking
See what I
United
mean?
Nations,
That's
100%.
facts right there, baby. That's facts. That's what I'm saying. And then you got Beta G right
Hey.
here. You know what I'm saying? But yo, that's why and I always say, like, I'm an extension of the people around me, right? And that's why my comedy hits, I think, for a lot of people, because they're like, oh man, like that's how I grew up. That's how I was raised. You see what I mean? Like that's why I feel like my jokes are heavily relatable for that reason. And that's where I get my information from, because every background of people, they usually stereotypically have certain jobs, like and stereotypically what happens to be coincidentally that Persians are the fucking biggest realtors in the world. Like everyone's a fucking realtor when they're Persian. So
hang on. Hey, Neema, you come to my office. It's 1,500 agents, one of the top brokerages in the country. Out of the 1,500, nice. I'm gonna say about 900 are Persian. So you're bang on. Like
there you go. Exactly.
Like, they're all watching this.
Or that's it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. So like when I was telling them I had you on, they're like, "Well, fuck, I can't wait to see this," because you talk their game. You know what I mean? You mentioned about,
you know how it is. Yeah.
100%.
Curbside appeal, buddy. Curbside appeal.
Curbside.
You have to make very nice outside. Otherwise, nobody buy. Okay.
It's so true. Comedy, the place it's at right now. Again, I'm 42. I grew up at a time where comedians were really allowed to talk about anything. Like and it was a place of escapism, but we all knew it was a joke. Like they fucking took it to the extreme. I feel for you guys now. I really feel for you, because in general, it's like they got a walk on the eggshells. You know, like sometimes you can't take it. What's your thoughts as a comedian? Like I know and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know what the new stuff that you're coming out with, and I'm not asking for, for you to share that if you're not comfortable. But I noticed that like you don't necessarily take it to the extreme, but people in your world do, and then they get canceled, and then all this shit happening. How are you navigating it? Like, how are you going through this in your mind? And do you see it any different than what I just said?
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it is very sensitive, obviously, for sure. It's way more sensitive than even 7 years ago when I was first starting, pretty much. But my thing is, once again, you're never gonna please everyone. First of all, right? That will never happen. Even Dave Chappelle has haters, like a lot of people. So many people don't like Kevin Hart. I'm like, well, then what do we got to talk about, right? What do we got to talk about, Joe Rogan? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my favorite thing. I always do that. Like, Joey Diaz?
Yeah.
Yeah. He always said, what we got to talk about, Joe Rogan? What the fuck we got to talk about these fucking contractors? You know what I'm saying? Like, every time I'm like, it is what it is. I just quote Joe Diaz when he says that. But anyway, yeah, man, like, it's like, at the end of the day, comedy's subjective. And no matter what, no matter how perfect you think you are, how clean or, non-offensive you are, there will still be people who'll be like, oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, this is terrible. Oh, this isn't funny. Oh, this is triggering. Oh, this is that. And the list goes on. And so that's why I'm like, man, you just have to worry about you and whatever you're working on. And then you'll find the right people who will gravitate towards you, like I said earlier. And that's all you need, man. That's why the power of social media is so high, because you can just create your own billboard. You create your own path. I'm creating my own billboard here. You know what I'm saying? I don't need gatekeepers, bro. I got my own shit going. And so that's why I just don't care. I don't care. I really don't. Like, people call me racist every day, homophobic, fucking this, that. Like, I'm like, all right, man, cool. I'm fat. Like, cool, yeah. Go to the gym, bro. All right, man. Sorry, I can't, man. I'm just too lazy. Yet I've been going to the gym for 9 months straight. I lost 80 pounds. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck.
Are you fucking, so has it been 80 pounds? Holy fuck, man. Congratulations.
Past year or so, yeah.
Holy shit, man. That's fucking huge. Yeah. Great job.
Well, thank you. But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, because people lack context so much, like, the first thing they'll see of you in a quick 30-second clip, they're like, oh, this is exactly who this person is. Like, they'll immediately just jump to conclusion. But I'm like, you're seeing not even the tip of this entire body of work or mindset that I have, or who I am as a person. You don't have no idea what the fuck I'm about. So that's why when you start like to go through your mind and you check off these things, you start to realize, oh man, like, this person just has no idea. They just don't get it. And it's okay. No one's always gonna get it. I don't like certain people. I fucking hate some people, but I'm like, I just don't care. Like, whatever. But you think they're occupied with how I feel about them? No, they don't give a fuck, right? Because they don't even know. So it's like, who cares? Just do your thing, and yeah, it's honestly as simple as that.
I love it, man. And I think for my viewers and listeners anyways, they're seeing a pattern. People who are successful, ultra successful on their journey, they all kind of have the same thesis around success, right? And being on that journey, which is, you got to get to a place where you don't give a fuck what other people think about, because it's just going to waste bandwidth in your head, which could be used to just execute on your own goals. And that's what I heard from you. Like, you're like, yo, bro, I got my own fucking billboard. Like, I felt that shit through the screen when you said it, Neema. Like I could feel like you're at a place where it's like, guys,
they didn't believe in us. They didn't believe in us.
Tell them fucking again, Neema.
God did.
God did.
God did. We got a whole ocean. When the Drake vocals coming in?
My man, I fucking love it. Hey man, I had a couple of places I was gonna go, but you took me off track, man, and not a lot of people can do that to me. Hey,
I'm sorry. That's how I do it, baby. That's how comedians do it. That's how we roll. Don't be as stupid. Don't be as stupid. Be as smart.
What's happening with this stupid? Is this the new brand? What's going on with it? Can people get the merch? What's going on with that?
This is just a sampler right now. I'm wearing.
Okay.
We just got this like this past month. It's always been my brand. As Stupid has always been something that's been to my core since before I even started comedy. Because my mom, the running joke is she would always call me a Stupid Neema in front of my friends, and people knew me as a Stupid Neema even when I was a kid before the online Neema Naz. Like,
Oh
you know what I'm
shit.
saying? So it's just carried on into my content, luckily, and it makes sense why. And now it's become a like a cultural thing for the people who know who I am to call me that now. Like people just address me as yo, a stupid Neema, yo, this, you know what I'm saying? So people know me as a stupid, which is I think is hilarious. I think it's great. And I think it's very marketable. I think it's something that a lot of immigrants can relate to because, you know, my Persian mom, she can't pronounce stupid without the E in front of it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of other immigrants, like Italians, Spanish people, you know, fucking whoever, like they can't, you know, they say
Same shit.
estupido or
Yeah.
estupida, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's very common. And so that's why this is gonna be I want this to be my brand, but I don't want it to just be like merch. I want it to be like a fucking like a
Message.
clothing line. I want it to be a message, but also a meaning behind who you are as a person. And like like to the point where like I don't want you to just wear it just to support me. I want you to wear it like you would just wear any other clothes that you like. I want it to be like a fashion statement at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Something that
Yeah,
like you just wear like, oh man, I'm not even thinking about like supporting Neema. I'm just wearing it because I like to wear it. That's
sure.
what we're going for. So,
Well, look, man,
yeah.
I never had my teacher say is stupid, but they did call me stupid. And they told my parents there's something wrong with this kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he has like
You are
we got to
stupid.
give him some
That's it.
drugs or something. And
Right,
that's where
some
this
dumb
came
shit, yeah.
about, the you are enough, because my
sure.
parents were always like, nah, man, you're enough. You just haven't figured
Right.
out what you're gonna do right
Exactly.
now. You know what I
Right.
mean? So and in the Punjabi culture, instead of saying fuck you, they said puck you. And like
Yeah,
like
fuck
with a
you.
puck, like a hockey puck.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
all of our cultures have something like that.
Exactly.
Right? So
There you go. That's what I'm
it's
saying.
kind of cool.
100%.
What are you excited about right now, man, for coming up? I know you got this whole move to Australia, but what else is
Yeah.
exciting in your world, brother?
Oh man, just working on my fitness and my health is the number one priority. Because you know, once again, I realized a long time ago, but more than ever, I'm like, if I don't take care of my health now, then I'll never be able to be the best performer I want to be as a comedian. Because you know, how am I supposed to, if I'm not 100% in my body as a human being, in my mind as a human being, then how can I be 100% as a performer on stage, on camera, on TV, movie? You know what I'm saying? So that's my main priority, and that's what we're working on. And also, obviously, building this new hour of material, which has been going pretty well. And we've already been planning way ahead for the tour dates and the different cities that we're going to. It should be way bigger and better than the last tour I did in 2022. So yeah,
Couple of
just
things.
working towards all that. Yeah.
Couple of things before I let you go. When you're working on this hour, like how much material do you have to start with? Is it and excuse my ignorance around it, but like is it like you need 5 hours material and then you start cutting down? Like I picture like how Martin Scorsese does a movie, right? Like he might start with 8 hours and then it still turns out to be a 4-hour movie, but like he still cuts it down like that. Like, is that your process?
It's I never think about it as like, oh, let me just do as much as possible. I just go with like, okay, I'm just gonna keep writing new jokes, new material, and then just keep trying them until it adds up to an hour. So
Got it.
like I don't know, like at the beginning, like when I started to write new stuff, I had like 3 new bits that were like total like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But then you go on stage, you do that 5 minutes, you fucking figure it out, and then you start to like extend the joke. So you start to add things to it. You start to, you know, broaden it and, you know, mix it up, like change the wording. You know what I'm saying? Like all those things matter. Change the delivery, right? Like do act outs. It's like the list goes on, right? There's so much happens in the process of polishing even just one small joke that lasts a minute long or a minute and a half or 2 minutes. But yeah, it usually will take like what I do. My method is like I'll take 3 or 4 jokes, bits, and then I'll work on just those for like a month straight. Those are the only ones I'm going to do on stage. I don't even worry about other material because I want to polish this one first. This chunk, this like 7 minutes. I'm gonna polish this 7 minutes first, or 10 or whatever. And then as soon as I find like, okay, it's pretty good, it's like 80%, then I'll move on to like 3 other new ones, and then rinse and repeat and start all over again for another month. And then after 6 months, you've gathered I don't know, let's say 40 minutes, 45, 50 minutes of pretty good stuff. Then you start to do them all together. You try to find transitions into the next bits. You know what I'm saying? You try to you try to swerve it all together to see how it flows, and then that's it. That's how you build a set, and then eventually, you're just gonna do it.
And so I've never known a comedian, and I've never even spoken to one for this long. So that's why I find it so interesting. Are you when you're going on stage, is that all memorized now, the whole flow, and okay, I'm gonna go from this joke to the next joke to the next joke?
Yeah, pretty much. I go up on stage knowing what I'm gonna work on. And sometimes I change up the order, to be honest, just to try it out, because I'm oh, what if it works better if I switch the two, or I don't know, if I do this first and this one last. You know what I'm saying? It's just trial and error, man. That's why getting on stage as much as possible is the key component to building a new hour of material.
I love it.
Simple as that.
I got to put you on the spot. When are you coming back to Toronto? Part of the tour dates, if you can let us know.
To be honest, I can't really say when exactly, but for sure in 2025, and it's going to be one of the biggest shows on the tour for sure. It's obviously my major market, and I'm going to do something fucking special for obviously my hometown, and yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be big. It's going to be really fun, and I can't wait to come back home and just put on a fucking amazing show for everyone.
Neema, not that you need it. You're a GTA guy. But when you do come, we did speak about you coming into the studio. I know the sign that I got to get, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I also want to give back, and you can call me out on it. I'm not that guy. When you come to do your show, buddy, please let us know. I want to bring my whole crew. I got 65 agents on my team. I got 13, 14 support staff. I told you about the 900 Persian realtors in my office. The Persians. Yeah. I want to make sure that we come out to your show. I want to support you because you're putting Toronto on the map, and you're doing it the right way, because you're being vulnerable. You're showcasing shit behind the scenes, and you're doing it with your own style. And as I mentioned earlier, I wanted to give you the fucking flowers, and I really appreciate you doing this with me, man.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate the kind words, man, and all the best to you and on your journey as well. And yeah, man, we'll look forward to eventually meeting in person, man. We'll run it in the Jas Takhar and Napinder studios.
Hey, I got you on tape for saying that. I love you, my man. Thank you for doing what you do. Keep doing it.
Appreciate you. Thank you so much. And don't be a stupid. You are enough.
If you found that episode valuable and you want to watch more of the Jas Takhar podcast, click here. If you want to see more videos in general, click here.